Last month, I made a video about housing. I will link it in the description below. And in that video, I was talking about, has anybody else noticed the sheer volume of for sale signs going up in their area? And I do specifically mean for sale signs and not to let signs. And in that video, I asked for some education because I don't know about the housing market, but for me to see quite a nice area and on my road alone, 5 to 6 houses just go up for sale like that, I was like, whoa, what's going on? Something's happening. So I asked you guys to tell me basically like what is happening. And I got some great feedback from that video. So this video is going to be like a little bit of an update to the houses that I mentioned in that video that are for sale, and an update to those houses, and just go a little bit deeper really into this issue. So first of all, small update, because really this is one of the whole reasons of the video. When I made that video, I'm pretty sure I said I've just come back from the shop and there was a person taking down the for sale sign at the house around the corner. Well, they took the sign down, and within 2 days there were moving trucks and people were moving right in. So, update, that house has sold and people have moved in. But this, again, is the whole point of the video, right? I mentioned in that last video that there are 5 to 6 houses up for sale on my road. Well, there is still the 4 to 5 houses that are still up for sale. Like, people are not able to sell their properties anymore, or at least as easy as it kind of was back in the day. Because I don't know about you, right? Like I said, I'm not really savvy when it comes to housing. I've never been an estate agent, I've never owned a house, but I'm quite observant when it comes to talking about things like this. I've had friends that have bought houses. You know, I've had friends that have rented houses in all different areas of the UK. So I've got a little bit of an understanding, and what I understand growing up was if you knew someone or yourself and you plan to sell your house, you would obviously put it on the market, you know, advertise it with an agency, advertise it privately if you could as well. And you wouldn't usually be waiting too long until you would get some people interested and the offers would start to come in. I don't know. I feel like it's taken years for people to sell their houses because, again, update. One of them houses that is up for sale has been up for sale for nearly a year now with the same estate agent. Okay? Now, this is a point that I wanted to make as well. For those of you that have ever sold your house or maybe are going to sell your house, would you stay with one estate agent that long if they're not selling your house? Because surely they're paying, like, this estate, are they paying fees? Like, again, please educate me. Are they paying fees to advertise with this agency, or do the fees come after you've sold the house from the house sale? And the reason I ask this is because I can't imagine why people would stay with one estate agent for a very long time that they're not selling their house with if it is the latter where you do wait until the house is sold and then you give over the fees. Like, why wouldn't you go with another estate agent in that case if you haven't got to pay these upfront fees? But again, I might be wrong, so please let me know. The other house down the road that is a really nice farmhouse, you know, real nice, that hasn't sold still. So I'm literally thinking to myself that people nowadays obviously haven't got the money, right? But another issue that these landlords and people that are trying to sell the house are coming across is that people that are trying to get the house can't even get a mortgage. Don't even earn enough money to be able to pay for the bloody house. Where they used to be able to, you know, maybe going back 10 years ago. But things have changed drastically where we're now finding that people cannot get a mortgage, so maybe their house is up for sale, everything's going through, there's an offer, this, that, and the other, and then right at the end, we're finding a cut. There is something happening. And I swear it wasn't like this. You know, there were a few, you know, glitches in the system that might happen. But I'm telling you now, I do not remember one of my friends, family members, or anybody I know waiting over a year to sell their house when it's just a standard, like, 2-bedroom up and down house. You know, we're not talking detached farmhouse, gonna cost you $500,000, right? We're not talking about that. Because yes, there are some of those around this area. And yes, one of them is for sale. I know it hasn't sold, but my point is, where are we gonna go from this? How are people gonna get out? Like, people just want to downsize as well, right? People are just like, oh, well, my kids have left and we're in a 4-bedroom house, so we might as well just downgrade to like a 2-bedroom house. That used to be a simple thing, pretty much. It used to be fairly simple, where someone would come along, have the amount of money to be able to afford a mortgage, and everything would go through. It just seems like now there is this weird... It just seems like now people are struggling, like, real bad. And because of the stamp duty thing coming in as well, like, again, thank you to those of you that said about stamp duties getting increased this year, and that's another reason why people are selling their houses, so I get that, right? And another question, quickly, to those of you who know about stamp duty, because I don't. I remember when my friend, who I mentioned, who bought that Taylor Wimpey house, right? I remember when he was talking about stamp duty and that it was going up, so he needed to, like, buy it in a certain time or something like that. Now, we're going back 6 years at least, right? And it was going up then. My question is, to you guys, is does stamp duty go up every year? Will it keep raising to a point where it's like no one can afford it? And is there a cap on it? Because all I keep hearing is stamp duty's going up, stamp duty's going up, stamp duty's going up. Like, does it, is there a, you know, maximum, whether it's a percentage that we pay or a fee that we pay, like, is there going to be a cap on that? It baffles me, it's like, where is the cut-off? Like, where is the help? Where is that? It feels like everybody is just trying so hard to keep their eyes above water right now, in this mess of a world right now that it's like a fucking movie, to tell you the truth. I also mentioned in that video that a lot of people are now selling their houses in Western countries and upping and leaving to other countries around the world. There is a huge rise in people leaving their hometowns and just... they've basically had enough, right? So a lot of these houses that are going up for sale are probably people that are just done with where they are and they want to leave. But, you know, whilst they're waiting for their house to be sold, there's a lot of shit that comes with it. I can imagine all the paperwork and, you know, the estate agents that you've got to deal with, and just the sheer amount of stress alone that comes with selling a house that you don't even know if you're going to sell for the price that either A, you want, or B, that it's worth, or C, that I guess the estate agent maybe makes that price up. But I just think that people are now really starting to see that you're not going to sell your house these days unless it's at a cost where someone can actually afford it. Are you in the middle of trying to sell your house? Have you sold your house? Did you have to lower the amount of money you wanted in order to get your house sold? Like, these are the questions that I want to ask people, because I want to say thank you to everybody that commented in that last video, because it just, you know, gives me the knowledge to continue doing these sorts of videos and kind of ask the questions that I want to ask. And there might be people being like, well, why don't you just ask Google? I could, obviously, but I think this is a nice, fun little interactive way for me to learn about genuine experiences from people who are in this world right now, living the lives that you and me are living, telling their experiences and stories of the nitty gritty of truly what it entails and how you can get out if you are also somebody that's trying to sell your house right now, and maybe it's been on the market for 6 months and you're thinking about lowering that amount of money that you want for your house to be able to sell. Then I just wanted to find information out and then also help maybe other people, because there could be people that are listening to me right now that are like, I got some tips and tricks for you. They might be really like super simple tricks, like make sure that all of your house is completely freshly painted. If you're doing your house pictures with all of your furniture in them, just make sure it looks aesthetically pleasing. Because a lot of things that we buy is based upon our eyesight and what we first see. So 9 times out of 10, if you see a clean and fresh smelling house, that will trick your mind into thinking that it's, better than maybe if you'd walked into the exact same house with the exact same aesthetics, but it didn't have that nice smelling, clean vibe that you smelt in the first one, right? So it's all these like psychological things that play in. So yeah, I just thought I'd put it out there. If there is anybody that has any hints, tips and tricks to try and help your house sell, please feel free to put it in the comments, because at the end of the day, right, people are just trying to live their life. And if they want to sell their house because it means that they'll have a better way of living because of it, whether that means they're downsizing so they don't need to spend as much money on, heating a 4-bedroom house, or whether that's people that are selling their house and going to another country and being able to use that Western money to their full advantage in another country. I truly believe that we, as consciousness human souls, have a deep rooting to just want to experience all we can and live this life as much as we can. But it's incredibly hard to do so in this human world. So I take my hat off to anybody who has done that, and I hope to anybody that's listening to me that does want to sell their house and have a better life, you do that too. I really do wish you the best, and let me know down below if you do manage to sell it.